Will the Senate please come to order? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Aquino. Senator Awa. Senator Chang. Senator DeCoit. Senator Dela Cruz. Senator Elefante.
Here.
Senator Favela.
Excused.
Senator Fukunaga. Senator Gabbard.
Excused.
Senator Hashimoto. Senator Ihara.
Present.
Senator Inoue.
Present.
Senator Kanuha. Senator Keoho Kalole.
Ill.
Senator Kidani.
Excused.
Senator Kim. Senator Lee. Senator McKelvey. Senator Moriwaki.
Present.
Senator Rhodes. Senator Richards.
Here.
Senator San Buenaventura. Senator Shimabukuro. Senator Wakai. Mr. President,
Present.
22 present, 3 excused.
Thank you. The chair has read the journal of the preceding day and approves the same. Are there any introductions this morning? Senator Kim.
Mr. President, yes, thank you. I just want to introduce my staff that's here in the gallery. You met Keola, who did our moment of contemplation, and my committee clerk, Rachel Weaver. So I appreciate having them on staff and for their good work.
Any further introductions? Senator Shimabukuro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to introduce Jennifer Wahe'e Polk, who's here to support our friend Val Okimoto. Thank you.
Any further introductions? If not, Madam Clerk.
On pages 1 to 4, departmental communication numbers 433 to 453 transmit various reports.
File.
On pages 4 through 10, House Communication numbers 551 to 589 return Senate bills that passed third reading in the House in an amended form for agree-disagree.
Senator Wakai.
Mr. President, I move that the Senate disagree to the amendments proposed by the House to the Senate bills referenced in House Communications numbers 551 to 589.
Senator DeCoit.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Any objections? If not, the motion is carried. Conferees will be named at a later date.
On pages 10 to 27, House Communication numbers 590 to 649 transmit House concurrent resolutions which were adopted in the House for referral to committee.
So ordered.
On page 28, Judiciary Communication number 27 transmits a report.
File.
On pages 28 to 30, Standing Committee Report numbers 3649 to 3667 for 48-hour notice, and Standing Committee Report numbers 3668 to 3672 for one-day notice.
So ordered.
On pages 30 and 31, Standing Committee Report numbers 3673 to 3681 for adoption.
Senator Wakai.
Mr. President, I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Reports numbers 3673 to 3681.
Senator DeCoit.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Any objections? If not, the motion is carried.
On page 31, Advise and Consent.
If there are no objections from the members, we will be taking advise and consent on consent.
Standing Committee Report number 3639 on Governor's Message number 606, Valerie Cato, gubernatorial nominee as the Deputy Director of the Department of Health for adoption.
Is there any discussion? Senator San Buenaventura.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I urge you to join me in supporting the nomination of Valerie Cato as the Deputy Director of the Department of Health. Valerie Cato has been serving as Interim Deputy Director for almost 1 year with no complaints, but admiration and support from her colleagues. Prior to joining the Department of Health, Valerie Cato worked as the first Attorney General under Ann Lopez and as Department of Health's Deputy Attorney General for 10 years, where she advised prior health directors and their deputies on legal issues, and in turn, she gained knowledge on the various aspects the Department of Health is involved in, from infectious diseases, food safety, environmental wastewater, mental health, cannabis, vital records, and more. Valerie Cato has shown that she will meet the high expectations set by her team and the public, and I urge my colleagues to join me in supporting her nomination. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, I have a quick comment. I have a cousin, first cousin, Valerie Cato, but I want it to be clear for the record. She is a resident of Seattle, Washington, and I have no relation to the Valerie Cato we're about to vote on now. Do we have unanimous consent? Any reservations? Any no votes?
22 ayes.
Thank you. Valerie Cato has been confirmed as the Deputy Director for the Department of Health. Senator San Buenaventura.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to rise and introduce the Deputy Director of the State Department of Health, Valerie Cato. Please stand. Thank you very much. Joining Valerie Cato today is her mother, Karen, sister, Allison, Auntie Harriet Miyazaki. Thank you all for joining us, and I see various Department of Health Deputy Directors also. Thank you.
Madam Clerk,
Beginning on page 32, third reading.
if there are no objections from the members, we'll be taking third reading on consent.
Third reading of House Bill 2184, Senate Draft 1, relating to campaign finance.
Is there any discussion? If not, do we have unanimous consent? Any reservations? Any no votes?
22 ayes.
Thank you. HB 2184 SD1 passes third reading.
Third reading of House Bill 2657, Senate Draft 1, relating to abusive litigation.
Is there any discussion? If not, do we have unanimous consent? Any reservations? Any no votes?
22 ayes.
Thank you. HB 2657 SD1 passes third reading.
Third reading of House Bill 1919, Senate Draft 1, relating to state voting facilities.
Senator De La Cruz.
Mr. President, I wish to offer a floor amendment to House Bill 1919 SD1.
Madam Clerk, please identify the amendment.
Floor Amendment Number 3, proposing an amendment to House Bill 1919, Senate Draft 1, copies of which have been distributed to the members.
Senator De La Cruz.
Mr. President, I move the floor amendment number 3 be adopted.
Senator Morawaki.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion, Senator De La Cruz?
The purpose of this amendment is to insert a provision so that state boating facility lease program shall only be issued for a small boat harbor within a county with a population less than 900,000.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Any objections, reservations? No votes. No vote for Senators Inouye, Decoit, and McKelvey. San Buenaventura. The motion is carried. Floor Amendment Number 3 has been adopted. 48-hour notice is hereby given for third reading of House Bill 1919 SD2.
Third reading of House Bill 1884, Senate Draft 1, relating to standards of conduct.
Is there any discussion? If not, do we have unanimous consent? Any reservations? Reservations for Senator Keohokalole, Inouye, San Buenaventura, McKelvey, Decoit, Shimabukuro. Any no votes?
22 ayes.
Thank you. HB 1884 SD1 passes third reading.
Third reading of House Bill 1580, Senate Draft 1, relating to animal cruelty.
On this particular item, as well as House Bill 2318 SD1 relating to Hawaii Nonprofit Corporation Acts, if there are no objections from the members, we would defer one day. Hearing no objections, so ordered.
Third reading of House Bill 2192, Senate Draft 1, relating to cemeteries.
Is there any discussion? If not, do we have unanimous consent? Any reservations? Any no votes?
22 ayes.
Thank you. HB 2192 SD1 passes third reading.
Third reading of House Bill 1758, Senate Draft 1, relating to professional engineers.
Is there any discussion? If not, do we have unanimous consent? Any reservations? Any no votes?
22 ayes.
Thank you. HB 1758 SD1 passes third reading.
Referrals and re-referrals.
Referrals and re-referrals are made in accordance with the supplemental orders of the day that may be filed later today.
No further business, Mr. President.
Are there any announcements today? If not, the chair has one. The deadline for filing standing committee reports on House bills for third reading is midnight tonight. Senator Wakai.
Mr. President, I move that the Senate stand in recess, leaving the journal open until 12 midnight for the receipt of standing committee reports on House bills to be placed on the calendar for third reading. And I further move that the Senate reconvene on Tuesday, April 9th at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Senator Decoit.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. If there are no objections from the members, the Senate will stand in recess, leaving the journal open until midnight, and reconvene on Tuesday at 10 a.m.